Welcome to the show that reminds us that there is humor in everything, especially in the serious stuff. From Zim MPs being suspended for protesting a fake letter, to Angola's president catching TikTok feelings, and the world wanting to hear from Drake and DJ Khaled on pertinent issues in the Middle East. We have a mixed bag of news that we are happy to turn into a social-political poiki, all in the name of satire. My name is Ashwyn Mberi, and it's time for the second take.
Win a double trolley dash in our birthday bonanza while saving on these. 5 kg top score for $59.99. 2-liter original Coca-Cola for only $19.99. 1.5 kg real good mixed chicken for just $64.99. 2 kg marathon sugar for $34.99. And 1 kg Nature's Garden mixed veg for $27.99. See the details of our incredible double trolley dash competition at www.vurmanbrock.com.
All right, let's get into our top stories. All members of parliament belonging to Zimbabwe's leading opposition party have been suspended from parliamentary sessions for 6 sittings, while also facing a 2-month suspension of their salaries. The decision was announced by Speaker Jacob Mudenda in response to protests orchestrated by the Citizens Coalition for Change within the parliamentary chambers. The CCC claimed that 15 of its MPs had been duped into losing their parliamentary seats. The incident transpired when a false representation of the CCC Secretary General submitted a letter to the Speaker, declaring that the 15 MPs were no longer affiliated with the party. However, the CCC does not have a Secretary General, and the letter contained numerous grammatical errors. Imagine that. Someone randomly sends a letter to Parliament withdrawing opposition MPs, and without any verification, the letter is endorsed. On top of that, MPs were suspended for protesting against the false letter. It's like having a cousin that you know doesn't like you, and prior to a family trip, your mother receives a text from a random number saying you don't actually want to go. And without asking, your mother replaces you with your cousin who just happened to be the only one left out because of space. Now, it may not be your cousin that sends the letter, but they say that if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it might be ZANU-PF trying to figure out a way to undermine democracy in Zimbabwe. Let's move on. A social media influencer in Angola has had her prison sentence increased to 2 years for insulting President João Lourenço on TikTok. Ana da Silva Miguel, popularly known as Nethnahara, was initially sentenced by a court to just 6 months in August. However, an appeals court ruled that the sentence was too lenient and raised it to 2 years, saying that Ms. Miguel had used offensive words against the president, and the fact that she had the ability to influence public opinion made her conduct more objectionable. Now, Ms. Miguel accused the president on her TikTok account of anarchy and disorganization, local media reported. She also blamed the president for the lack of schools, housing, and employment in the oil-rich Southern African state. President Lourenço was re-elected for a second term in August last year in a closely fought election that extended the ruling MPLA party's decades-long dominance. It's been in power since independence in 1975 and is accused of leading a repressive regime. The concern for presidential feelings, according to me, seems a little rife. And nothing quite says repression than jailing someone for making a TikTok based on their own perspective. A president being blamed for the lack of schools, housing, and employment is as common as a president being responsible for building schools, housing, and employment. And since when was it an insult to be called disorganized? I mean, at this stage, we can expect long-term ruling parties to enact laws against TikTok filters and challenges. And let's say someone calls you an anarchist and disorganized. Should you not be able to simply show the nation that they aren't any of the above mentioned? I mean, if someone says that you keep a messy room, shouldn't your first response simply to be opening the door? In my experience, people complain about what they see. And what I see is African presidents with far-reaching power having the emotional fortitude of school-going teenagers at break time. Now, the conflict between Israel and Palestine has been going on for eons. But last week was a turning point. Many people voiced their support for the side they feel is most aggrieved. What was also interesting was America's President Joe Biden speaking on what turned out to be an unverified source, proving once again that millennials have a responsibility to keep watch over what granddad says and does when he logs onto social media. Now, some people question the guys that you just saw, Drake and DJ Khaled. Bring them back. Based on the fact that Drake has Jewish heritage and DJ Khaled has Palestinian roots. I don't see any sense in this. And by this, I mean constantly needing celebrities to be the leading voices in political issues. Now, that's not to say that their voices can't pull influence for good. I'm by no means saying stick to music. Just stick to what you have shown enough concern about to be well-informed and impactful in a meaningful way. Because going by what they're most known for, there's a chance Drake just says what is happening in Gaza is God's plan, which I'm sure some Zionists would agree with. And DJ Khaled screaming, "We the best," is not likely to help much either. So we got journalist Alberto Greg to give us his in-depth analysis on the dissemination of information during the conflict as we get his Namspective after the break.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
This segment is dedicated to finding out how Namibians feel about their country, Africa, and the world. As promised, senior journalist Alberto Greg joins Second Take to share his thoughts on the way the Israeli and Palestinian conflict is being reported, as well as some caution for Namibian journalists going forward. Here is his Namspective.
Yes, regarding the situation in the Middle East, specifically in Israel and Gaza, it's very worrisome. It's really a tragedy, the massacre that's happening now. And from our perspective here in Namibia, I think that what we need to be most careful of is the weaponization of the news. You can't really believe anybody because everybody has their own agenda and everybody is skewing the reporting to favor their own side, whether it is to justify the ongoing genocide that's happening in Palestine now, or to justify the acts of terrorism which sparked this massacre. The people in Gaza, the Palestinians, the vast majority of the 2.2 million, which might even be more. I think their population is comparable to that in Namibia. Those people are living in terrible situations. It's been called an open-air prison. And their resistance to that situation is logical, I think. And bearing in mind the limited options, you would expect that eventually it would turn into violence. Whether that attack was really a surprise is questionable, especially considering the Israeli intelligence capability. And there's some possibility that it was allowed to happen in order to justify the current genocide. But as I said in the beginning, all the news is weaponized. So we don't know really who to trust, who to believe. What is undeniable is the tragedy of the suffering and the death, and the fact that a lot of that population is children who are being killed, it makes it so emotive. There are many triggers there, but we must be careful of allowing ourselves to be influenced, because we are living in this age where news is used for purposes, personal or purposes of justifying things. I think one of the most important takeaways is that in Namibia we must really learn to appreciate our own national news environment. The fact that we have a very credible news network, multi-stakeholder news network, and we must fight to protect that, because especially with the discovery of oil, we can expect that news will also be weaponized here for other people's interests. We must appreciate that we can still find opposing viewpoints credibly reported on, and we must protect that. And bearing in mind recent events like the suspension of the managing editor at New Era, we must be on guard for attempts to undermine our news culture, because there are many outside interests who are very invested in Namibia from all over the world. You know, we have strong Chinese presence here. We've also got a strong American presence here. The European interests are obvious, and any of these people can look to destabilize our democracy for their own gains. You know, it's much easier to take advantage of a country which has been plunged into chaos in order to extract whatever they need. So we need to guard our independence, and to do that we need to protect our media freedom.
That is our Ghetto Greg's Namspective on the reporting around the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And you may have heard a dog barking in the distance in the background. That's because to us, every Namspective counts, Mr. Mpanda. Heartwarming moment of the week after the break. The recently crowned Miss Namibia, Jamila Uiras, blooms from the roots of the Damara people of Namibia. In showing their support for Jamila, members of Nisa Damara Di Kaikams imparted traditional knowledge and brought gifts as well as traditional attire that Miss Namibia can adorn throughout her reign. This clip from the event was provided by Tia James Wilson, and it is our heartwarming moment of the week.
Sleeve. It should always be incorporated on the Damara dress as is. We have, if she turns a bit around, we have the fine pleats at the back of the dress, which is a must-have on all the Damara dresses. It embodies the beautiful feminine features. You guys know what I'm talking about. And yeah, and on the front side, we have the L-shaped buttons, as we call them. Also a very important element which we don't want to omit in our dresses. We also have our the frill. We like to put them differently. You know, you can be innovative with it on the dress. And the dress is correctly worn. It is a full length as it should be. It must cover your ankles. It must never be shorter. And to complement the dress, Jamila is wearing her beautiful cape. And underneath the cape, we have Mr. Horeb that brings out the design of the cape. Amen. And it complements the dress. Without the cape, the dress cannot be worn. Yes. You know? And then she has her necklaces, which is part of the accessories that she must have. She's a beautiful woman representing us. She has her earrings, and this is a complete feature. And I'm going to call on one of the ladies that have prepared the one element that is going to combine this dress. And it is the Charlie. Ne? Kelisa. Aba Kelisa. For very bad. Jamila said, Horeb that brings out the design of the cape. Amen. And it complements the dress. Without the cape, the dress cannot be worn. Yes. You know? And then she has her necklaces, which is part of the accessories that she must have. She's a beautiful woman representing us. She has her earrings, and this is a complete feature.
Kay karapti kay Queen. Did I get Jamila Kuirasa? Did I get Jamila Kuiras? I'm fully aware that this is the embodiment and presentation of our beauty and identity, and that it connects us with our heritage and our ancestors. So I appreciate the immense support and the continuous love. I will wear this dress with elegance and pride, and I'll make sure to spread the word, spread the love, and teach Namibians more about our culture. Thank you so much. Okay, Ayos.
Naisa, Ngorosa, Ngoren Uiske, Irakonsa. Tingabo Hana Yemi.
Do I find it so
hard? But I'm not inside to that going to inside.
Oh, you in my heart.
Arida Cassis. I am a mask, Sita Misa.
I'm letting you down every day.
Truly, nothing is as beautiful as African culture. TikTok of the week after the break.
Welkom jullie, mijn naam is Brian Munango en ik is jullie aanbieder voor Gooi Kolen. Dit meest donderdagse sportstrip noem. Einde van hierdie programma zal ik en hoe om Frans te praten. Je m'appelle? Je bent?
Le jour.
Je raad je me ko.
Is dit een onderbroek?
Geschakeld. We zien jullie weer vrijdag volgende week.
Gooi kool!
Gooi kool!
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Tonight, the Springboks will put on their rugby jerseys, not just for South Africa, but for all of Africa at the Rugby World Cup. The Boks playing France is what I like to call the ultimate clash between biltong and croissants. And this light-hearted edit by The Rugby Guy Official on TikTok shows what happens when you love Springbok captain Siya Kolisi a little too much. Enjoy. Don't lie to me now. You would have also tried to dance with Sia. See you after the break.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nhom.com.na.
Unbiased reporting fosters understanding, empathy, and unity by presenting a balanced view of different perspectives, cultures, and ideologies. It helps counter misinformation and propaganda, promoting critical thinking and responsible discourse. Yet, the core responsibility of a journalist is to give you the truth. And the truth won't always be as popular as a Drake album, but it can save you from needing Drake's opinion when the world is burning. My name is Ashwyn Mberi, and that is The Second Take.